From the author that brought you The Raven, the author born out of unrelenting struggle and heartbreaking losses.
Ladies and gentlemen, Edgar Allan Poe.
Who became the great father of the mystery genre by creating the story The Murder in the Rue Morgue. These classic stories aren't conjointly found in your local bookstore, but you can now own all of Edgar Allan Poe's major works for a price that will blow your local bookstore out of the water. This collection will include your favorites, including The Murder in the Rue Morgue, the first mystery story known to the literary world. The Raven, a poem of suspense, thrills, and chills. Telltale Heart, a story of murder, overwhelming betrayal, and madness. And Annabel Lee, a sad and depressing story of love and heartbreaking sorrow.
These classic stories were born out of not only the sad life of the author himself, which began on January 19th, 1809, but the time in which he lived, the Dark Romanticism period. The Dark Romanticism period contained Americans participating in outraged protests against the general state of culture and society. This was known as the Transcendentalist philosophy. The reaction of the Transcendentalists, who believed in more spirituality than in religion, and were against Calvinist orthodoxy of New England, who believed in predestination. This period wasn't a completely dark time, however, as on June 22, 1847, one of the greatest creations known to life was invented, the donut.
Edgar was quite the loner. His style was so dark and gloomy and depressing that people couldn't seem to accept him. Society didn't seem ready to accept his trailblazing style. His works would be remembered for all of eternity, but people at the time couldn't seem to come to terms with the fact that not all stories were full of rainbows and unicorns. Although his melancholy style brought him great misfortune during his lifetime, we are quite thankful that he stuck with his passion, because if he had not, we wouldn't have the thrilling and gut-wrenching entertainment that we have today, and we would all miss that dearly. However, we would certainly not miss all the agonizing schoolwork that comes along with these great masterpieces of fiction. So if you are an author who writes dark and gloomy stories, were adopted, dropped out of West Point, and are a complete loner, always check that you are on the correct train. Otherwise, you might die a painful death.